Welcome to Corrective Consciousness, episode 282, the podcast where we explore the inanity of pop culture. I am your host, vysethebold, and this is
Lotus Prince.
And we have another wonderful show here where we will not be talking about mediocre Ghostbusters movies. But rather, we decided to put our discussion about those on hold. We're not even really looking forward to talking about the next one.
I haven't seen...
I was just going to say...
I haven't seen either of the next two movies, so I don't know what the hell we're going to talk about.
Exactly. In fact, we may even have to postpone it for a while.
I don't care enough.
Yeah, exactly. Because, in order to have this discussion, you would want to watch a movie. You'd want to have enough effort to watch a movie that nobody gives a shit about. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll table it, until we can be a little bit more informed as a group about it. But anyway, why don't we just talk about the Game Awards?
Ooh.
Now, I know that you you actually watched this live, didn't you?
I couldn't even tell you the last time I watched an award show live.
Oh, okay. I thought you were watching it because
I don't give two shits about award shows except for watching what people say about them as they happen. So I'm like, oh, sounds like this thing's coming out. I think I watched. Maybe it was a couple years ago I watched part of a show live, but usually I only care about Devolver Digital sketches, which ironically are not done live.
Yeah, that's kind of funny. But I thought I saw you complaining about how long the awards were.
Oh, I did, because I went into a Discord group 2 or 3 hours after I think it had started. So, because I wasn't online all day. So I was like, so, what happened? And they're like, oh, it'll probably be 2 or so hours more before it's done. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Jesus Christ. Well, anyway, I did want to talk about the various happenings during it. I did not watch it myself. However, I was keeping abreast of what was going on.
Yeah, I got the announcements and saw the relevant videos that I wanted to watch.
Exactly, and we'll talk about the awards themselves and also the things that were revealed. But we'll also address the fact that they kind of had a candy-assed way of addressing the abuses of Activision Blizzard in particular.
Yeah, to the surprise of no one, let's be honest.
To the surprise of no one, because obviously they're probably a major advertiser with them, and
again, not Bobby Kotick, but Robert Kotick, spelled differently, is on the advisory board of the Game Awards.
Who are completely unrelated people, I think.
It's just an amazing coincidence.
But they basically said, abuse of any kind is strictly prohibited, and admonished by us. But they didn't call out the specific company that everybody was.
It's bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't admonish anybody in particular. They only admonished generic things that of course you admonish. In general.
Murder is bad. Oh, thank you for that.
Exactly.
Oh, and by the way, speaking of candy-ass response and probably going out of order with what you had intended to talk about regarding the awards being presented, how about that Quantic Dream game they pimped out?
Yeah, so there is a new Quantic Dream game being made in the Star Wars universe. Now, Quantic Dream has had many things alleged against them in terms of abuse. Elliot Page even sued them way back in the day, I think.
For completely modeling the female character that he had played back then, the body in Beyond Two Souls, which
genitalia and all.
Completely. Yeah, so you would not see this on PlayStation 3, but if you messed around with the camera hack, which somebody did, whoops, that's in the game.
A completely
that's fucking disgusting.
One for one replication of the the actor's body, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, don't fucking talk to me about how abuse is bad. Anyway, here's the new David Cage game. Fucking really?
Yeah, I mean that's only the first thing I ever heard alleged against them, but there have been plenty of like
yeah, that's
women
the first
just
thing.
saying...
But we did talk on this podcast about them going to court in France about a bunch of disgusting stuff, and
yeah,
so that was a whole other thing we did a podcast on.
So yeah, and Ubisoft is also part of this thing, and they have their problems
they're also
too.
A shitty company. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. So oddly enough, EA isn't in this discussion.
No, EA is more.
They're shitty for different reasons.
Yeah, EA is more interested in microtransactions and killing companies from the inside than abusing employees
sexual abuse,
to our knowledge.
Yeah, gender-based abuse.
There's probably fucking something in there too, but at least there's no record of it for now.
Yeah, it's not something we know of yet. But I mean, like Riot Games, which also had like
Riot's fucking gross. Yeah,
exactly.
And Riot's getting a free pass because they're releasing that TV show based on League of Legends, which looks really good.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
You gotta love it when games put out all sorts of stuff like Overwatch. It's got all sorts of like LGBT characters and like different representations, but like clearly that's just lip service.
Yeah. It's like Mark McGuire hitting dingers in front of everybody as The Simpsons as he's collecting data on all of them.
Yeah, do you want to hear the deep dark secret, or do you want to see me hit some dingers?
Ooh, dingers! But yeah, go back to the 90s, folks. But anyway, let's get on to the actual awards. So Game of the Year was actually pretty surprising. So
shocking, honestly.
Yeah,
it's a great
like
game, but like considering that the Game Awards is a corporate circle jerk, I was surprised.
I mean, to be fair, It Takes Two, the winner, is an EA published title.
That's true. That's true.
But it is also like basically made by a one-man company, more or less. Not one person made the game, but like
it's a small company.
What
was it called? Hazelight?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh, by the way, I do want to point out after our discussion of Take-Two Interactive being an asshole about It Takes Two, it's just very funny that the Game Awards just shouts out the number one game of the year is It Takes Two.
Well,
I just like that.
I don't think it's coincidental. I think they knew this kind of thing might be coming up, because they got nominated quite a bit, and they knew that there would be more sales of the game, so probably that's what spurred them on to do their copyright claim. But I think they'll get nowhere.
Yeah,
it's
it
too
just
generic.
amuses me though that now they just shouted out that game by name. Like,
yeah,
It Takes Two. The winner is It Takes Two. The one that's called It Takes Two. Like, God damn it.
Now, this is a game in a long line of games that have a two-player mechanic.
Even Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons. This is one-player game that is a two-player mechanic.
Yeah, they have basically every game in that this company has made has had that two-player mechanic, and
has been genuinely creative with it. It's not just like play your game with a friend. Like there's a real you must play these games two players to get not even the full experience, but to just get any experience. With the single exception of Brothers, which still had a two-character gimmick.
And then there's the prison one, the Prison Break one.
We just talked about this in our It was like Let Out, Get Out.
Yeah, something like that. But
I'll look it up again, but I should not have forgotten this.
I always forget it.
It's something that's easy. It rolls off the tongue, but it's easy to forget.
Yeah, Hazelight made Brothers: A Way Out.
A Way Out. Okay.
Yeah, it takes two. So the three games. But anyway, I actually did buy It Takes Two when it came out, because I heard it was such a fun game to play, even for people that didn't play a lot of video games. And my wife has played video games growing up, but it's not her main hobby. So we only occasionally play games together. And this was a game that we played like the first up to the first boss of. And it wasn't that we didn't like it. In fact, I loved it. We loved it, but we just fell off of it. But it was awesome. It was a really fun experience. And I absolutely can see why this was it was called Game of the Year, because it's a lot of fun. It's a really fun game. And it also, it's a game about relationships, using a relationship as the fulcrum for the gameplay, which is really neat. Basically, it's it's a game told through the imagination of a child whose parents are divorcing. The two playable characters are like mini miniaturized versions of the two parents, and they have to work together to get through the house that is a dangerous place. So it's pretty neat. I always really like that aesthetic where it's like small people in a big world kind of thing, kind of like Chibi Robo, or even
Tiny,
things like
Huge Island.
Yeah, or like Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers. It's just like these
okay.
Or the Littles, or the
Mr. Mosquito.
Yeah. Anything where the household looks huge. I just find that really captivating.
For this stuff.
No, yeah. But I just like that whole vibe. I really like that. It's hard to get around when you're not the right size.
Katamari.
Yeah, exactly. So it's definitely one of those types of games, and I really did enjoy it. Now the other games on this list were Deathloop, which I have played a little bit of. I've played 3 or 4 hours of, and I'm still not quite there with it, but I can see the brilliance in it. It's just that I haven't seen enough of the game to get what they're getting at yet.
Well, from what I've heard, people like it, but I don't know if it'd be like Game of the Year material.
Well, that's the thing, is I think there's a lot to it, and there's a lot to discover in it, but like it doesn't hold your hand at all. So you kind of figure it out on your own, kind of stuff. Like, there are goals in the game that the game doesn't tell you about, or at least they don't at the current juncture I'm at. And like I'm like doing things, but I don't know how it affects anything, and it's like drip feeding me a story that doesn't quite make sense to me yet. Which I guess is its thing. But it's cool. It's really neat. It reminds me of the greatest hits of every influential first-person shooter that I've ever played. Like, it's kind of funny like that. It kind of has like all these mechanics that you're like, oh, this kind of reminds me of BioShock, or this kind of reminds me of this or that, or this kind of reminds me of Doom even, or something like that. And it's Doom 2016.
Are you constantly cracking obnoxious one-liners?
Not like that. It's more like you're giving snippy retorts to like PA announcements, like stuff that's happening over speaker.
Sure.
Yeah.
Are secret doors secret enough that 80% of the game is mashing spacebar against every single wall until you finally find something?
No, all the secret stuff is like you need to find like a combination to get into it. The kind of stuff. Kind of like BioShock or System Shock in that way.
Do you have a Hollow Duke, and is it actually called the Hollow Duke?
You cannot pick up your own poop and throw it and do all kinds of gross stuff with it. No, you can't do that. I mean, it's not very Duke Nukem influence.
I'm trying to think of like stupid aspects of like various old games. Oh, this was influential.
I haven't flushed a toilet yet. But
there you go.
I have basically gotten stimulants out of a vending machine, so that's like a BioShock thing.
Were they called steroids,
BioShock.
And then they had to be changed for the N64 release?
No, it's very BioShocky in a lot of ways, but it has like a time loop kind of thing going on. Sure. So like I don't, like I said, I don't know the I haven't gotten the hang of the game yet.
Is it like Doom 3, where every time you get hit, like your aim flips out and you can't do anything?
No, nothing like that. But I can see why it was well liked. It's one of those games where I think the story really does have a really good payoff.
Sure.
But yeah, Metroid Dread, which it's pretty amazing that this game is in the discussion. I'm just very happy that it's in the discussion because Metroid hasn't had an original title since the 3DS, I guess, but if you want to count that one. But
I'm happy that he got to have another game again. Metroid is a great character.
Really, the Wii is the last time we had a genuine Metroid game, original Metroid game, and this.
Yeah, and even then, it was a Team Ninja game.
Yeah, and it was also considered like pretty much the cliff of the series, where like that's where Nintendo stopped investing in Metroid. And that was a huge shame. I mean, it was one of my favorite. It is one of my very favorite franchises, and it had fallen off the face of the earth. But Metroid Dread really brought it back and in style. I mean, this was not the first Metroid game by Mercury Steam, but it was the second one, and it is markedly better than the first one. The first one was a good game, but it was a remake of a game, first of all.
Yeah, I was going to mention that as Dread was original. Like, the remake played around with stuff. It wasn't just like, oh, I know 100% of what happens in this game.
Yeah, there's extra content.
Yeah, there is. But Dread is like, you don't know anything.
Yeah, well, what I was also going to get at is the official... That game also kind of has the stench of the fan-made game, which was markedly better than it. And it's a shame too, because Return of Samus was a good game.
It was good. It's just an unfortunate coincidence that it came out 5 minutes after an amazing fan game.
An amazing fan game that was worked on for many, many, many years. I think it was like 10 years that game was being worked on. And they can't compete with somebody who made that a labor of love for 10 years and is still updating it to this day.
And the funny thing is, regarding the fan game, like, who would have guessed that anybody would remake Metroid 2? Like, that Nintendo, like, that's the one Nintendo's going to bring back.
Well, I've said this for a long time, but I think what Nintendo should do next is remake some of their less beloved
it makes me think of, like
Zelda 2. Zelda 2, like a genuine Zelda 2 remake. Yeah, proper remake of
Zelda 2 would be great. Because it just makes me think, awesome. Like, weird Game Boy titles, it just makes me think, like, some random fan modder out there is like, I'm going to make a quality version of this game. And then all of a sudden, Konami re-releases, like, Ninja Turtles 3 Fall of the Foot Clan. Like, what the fuck? Really? They were working on that? Like,
out of all the things.
Yeah, come on.
But I can happily say I've played through maybe about a third of Dread, and I really love it. I haven't, beaten it, obviously, but it is excellent. And not only that, but it brings a much-needed dynamic to the franchise that never existed, where you have these areas where you are stalked by those enemies, and
what I like, by the way, is
really
that
cool.
It's what I like about those, by the way, is that if this were made back in the Super Nintendo era, it would be like, for God's sake, get to the door. Where's the door? And it still is that, but that creature thing will chase you through a few rooms. So you're not just out. Like, oh, that's easy. I have a loading zone. Like, the room's over, but it's still coming.
They basically created a 2D version of the Nemesis from Resident Evil.
I was going to mention Mr. X and Nemesis, but the thing with them is, even when they bust through a wall and come after you, or through a door, that's still scripted. Like, with Metroid, if you escape a door and that thing follows you into the next room and you leap over it and go back the way you came, it'll still come after you. Like, if you escape Mr. X from the second room, he's gone. Same goes for Nemesis. Like, he doesn't chase you everywhere. It just, you didn't know any better back then. But in Dread, that thing will just follow you until you trigger the go away thing, like the big heavy metal door or whatever it is that keeps it out.
Yeah, and in Metroid, you can't fight it. You literally have to avoid it. until you get the boost that you need in order to your gun. That's very temporary in order to take out each individual one. I also like that it has multiple areas, just a lot like Super Metroid did. There are multiple entire areas that are interconnected. It's just, I don't know. It's just a wonderful game. I really, really like it. It adds it furthers the lore of the series in not a bad way. Also,
that was the thing. Like,
yeah.
Metroid Other M does look like a pretty good Metroid game, but people were furious about what it did with the lore.
Well, not only that, but the characterization too. The characterization was like you took
Samus herself. Yeah.
A character that has been built up as a very strong female character. Basically, they took her down a peg and made her very anime and very vulnerable instead of strong. It just very not what people liked in the characterization of the character before.
And not only that, but it's not even like this is a super prequel. Like, doesn't the game's opening cutscene is like a really awesome CG representation of you beating Mother Brain in Super Metroid. So like, you've been through this shit 3 times already.
Yeah, no, this Dread, it takes place after Fusion, which was the latest one. So this is like Metroid 5, technically. Metroid Fusion labels itself Metroid 4 when you play it. So this would be Metroid 5. So it does further the story, and that's really, really cool. I'm loving it. I think it's great. I think it's great that it's in the discussion, because this is probably a game that Nintendo was like, all right, we'll do it, but we have reservations kind of thing. And now they don't need to have reservations. The game sold well, it got a lot of attention, and it got in this category, which even being in the category in the discussion is an honor, honestly. And all the games in here are actually pretty impressive. It's none of them I'm rolling my eyes at, which says a lot for Game of the Year. Like, Call of Duty didn't get in here or whatever, you know. Then you have Psychonauts 2. I haven't played this one yet. I don't know if you know much on it yet, but do you know much on it?
I know nothing. I would definitely like to play it, though.
Me too.
Like, I intentionally know nothing.
Yeah, exactly. I believe it, because I think the storytelling...
what little I've heard of people who have played it have said that they loved it.
Exactly. I think this is probably the most underdog game on here, because like
Psychonauts 1 was severely, like, it's a cult hit.
Yeah, I think 2 didn't even get the support it should have as well. It's like
not even a physical release.
Oh, really? It was a digital only? I didn't
as far as I'm
that.
aware, I've never seen it.
Oh, wow. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart,
that was never going to win Game of the Year. Ratchet and Clank games aren't Game of the Year.
No, but like it being in the discussion, I think this is the only one that's ever been in the discussion.
Well, that's kind of where I was going. It's impressive that it made it this far. Like, Ratchet and Clank games, like, I've played every single one of them, but like, they're not Game of the Year. They're just really fun 3D platformers.
Well, apparently this one's good enough. Well, like, might be one of the best ones. Based off of this.
I mean, when I get a PS5, I'll find out. But exactly. Good luck beating Crack in Time.
Good. Oh, really? Is that game really hard?
Who said anything about hard? Just Crack in Time kicks ass.
I thought you meant beating it as in, like, defeating it. But anyway.
No, I meant good luck Rift Apart as a competitor beating Crack in Time.
Oh, okay. That one's the PS3 one, right?
Yes. Okay. That is the second one, because Tools of Destruction, then Crack in Time. Okay,
Tools of Destruction was the episodic one, right? That you had to get a European version
you know what?
Of that?
No, you're right. I forgot about that. That was Quest for Booty. That was the little mini downloadable one. Tools that one might have been the second one, actually. But the first one was Tools of Destruction, which was Ratchet and Clank in HD. And then you have I think Quest for Booty might have come next, the little downloadable one. Gotcha. Crack in Time seemed like it could have been an end to the series. And so then they released Into the Nexus, and I was like, oh, okay.
Is that the PS4 one?
No, still PS3.
Oh,
And then
okay.
they like didn't know what the fuck to do, so PS4 is the movie tie-in that's also a reboot. It's like the first game again.
Oh,
It's like the original
gotcha.
PS2 game, but with tweaks, like Doctor Nefarious exists. So the reboot was just a completely new thing. So Rift Apart, I don't even know if that's a follow-up to the reboot, like episode 2, or if it's in fact episode like 10 or something from the main series.
Gotcha. But
I'll have to find out.
yeah, you obviously know a lot more about the series than I do. I played most of the first game, and that was it. But
Yeah,
not that I
first
didn't
game's
like
solid,
it.
but the PS4 is the first game again, but with again Doctor Nefarious exists because he was normally like he only ever showed up in the third game, and then he was really popular, so he kept coming back. But the first game, the bad guy was Drek, and that was it. The PS4 one also has Nefarious, like pre-cyborg Nefarious.
Gotcha. And then Resident Evil Village, which this one isn't a surprise because out of all the like AAA games, like everybody loved this game when it came out.
Yeah,
We
I
haven't
heard people
played it.
might have liked 7 more, but still really liked 8.
Yeah, eight also has the characters to go along with it. Like they like the characters in it. So
Did you know that Lady Dimitrescu's ass has more polygons than Resident Evil?
But anyway, I'm not surprised that's in there, and I'm happy.
That game looks
game's
cool.
in there. Yeah, I want to play it. I'm just woefully behind.
I mean, you're telling me I'm stuck in the PS2 era. I gotta play more Resident Evil games.
I'm trying to play through 6, and I'm not happy.
Yeah, that's the thing. I am like terrified. Like the PS2 era has a lot of mediocre stuff, but this is still back in an era where Resident Evil games were like 3 or 4 hours if you're quick. I am terrified of the PS3 era because that's Resident Evil 5, which I've played and thought was mediocre, and Resident Evil 6, which everybody says is bad. So I'm like,
Yeah.
oh no.
It just doesn't feel anything like the other ones. Like
Yeah.
it feels cheap. It's really weird.
Which is ironic because it's a big budget game.
It just doesn't feel right. It's a very odd compared to even 5. 5 at least you say what you want about it. At least like
Yeah,
the
5
environments
played
were
like
tight.
4. 5 actually had the best gameplay in the series up to that point. I
Yeah.
will admit that the gameplay was great. I just didn't like the game.
Yeah, but no, 6 is just ugh. But anyway, moving on, we have best game direction. Deathloop was the winner. There is It Takes Two in this. Psychonauts 2, Ratchet and Clank. But the odd one in here is Returnal, which I heard was great. Roguelite.
Yeah, roguelite. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which,
So
by the
I
way,
definitely
like
want to play that when that.
baffling game
when I
to
can.
be your big PS5 launch, like an esoteric, well, not esoteric, but like a niche genre that's like designed to be a pain in the ass.
Yeah, so Deathloop winning this one it doesn't surprise me. Just
Yeah.
given the breadth of voiceover and complicated story that's in Deathloop, it makes sense to me. Best narrative. Oh, this is really a surprise, and a lot of like fans of this game were very elated. Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy. So
Yeah, from what I've heard, that game is amazing.
I just picked it up and I love it. It is awesome.
Because I remember
think
initially
it's
people
great.
were like, that doesn't look like Chris Pratt, but like they look like the comic book iterations of the characters.
They kind of like merged the comic book versions with the popular aspects of the movie.
Is every character voiced by Chris Pratt?
No,
Okay.
but it is a fun game, and also gets what people liked about the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, which is that the characters have a lot of heart and also function as a family.
Yeah, well,
which
that
is really
that is
cool.
something I appreciate they realize, because there's so many times where like not game developers, but like the heads of the companies don't understand why they're successful.
Yeah.
Like I saw recently like an advertisement for Paper Mario, the original one, the 64 one,
Sure.
coming to Nintendo Online, and the advertisements were all like paper puns.
Yeah.
Like, he's not going to fold anytime soon. And, like, people are like, you do realize the reason we like the game isn't because it's the fucking paper aesthetic, right? Like, it's a good game. We're not in it for the fucking
gameplay.
Paper. Like
It's the
that was a
gameplay,
weird quirk that like fine, cool, but like is the game good?
But yeah, this game is very immersive. A lot more immersive than you'd think because it definitely kind of has like a movie like feel to it. Like like the mission that I'm on, like it basically like feels like you're watching a movie. It kind of like an Uncharted movie or something like that. You know, like Uncharted feels like a movie. It's just a lot of fun. The characters banter constantly. They never repeat themselves. You can actually go off in a corner and get lost, and they'll still be talking about something different all the time.
Cool. By the way, tangential. But you know how they're making that Uncharted movie? I guess it's going to be a prequel where it's going to star like Tom Holland.
Yeah,
who
and
looks like
Mark
baby
Wahlberg.
face.
Yeah.
You know what the funny thing is? People have been complaining about Chris Pratt taking over like various roles, like voiceover roles. I honestly could see him as Nathan Drake.
Well, I wouldn't mind that. Him being like the new Indiana Jones, you know, he has the look for it. But
yeah, like of all things, Chris Pratt's doing this, Chris Pratt's doing that. Like he could be Nathan Drake.
Indiana Jones was never a young guy, like young Indiana Jones. Yeah,
Well.
yeah. But what I mean is like he wasn't in his 20s. Like Harrison Ford wasn't in his 20s when he played when he played Indiana Jones. Like his iconic. He's a grizzled, like you know, like World War II era professor, like archaeologist and professor. So he's not like, you know, he's an old hat at what he's been doing too. So
but he still looks good because the girls in his college class are like, ooh, so dreamy. Do you remember that scene?
Yeah, no, like she has like something on her eyelids. You know, it's like
Professor Jones is so hot.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Like, all right.
I mean, he is Harrison Ford. But
yeah,
anyway,
I know he's
I mean,
like
come on.
70s, 80s Harrison Ford. Like, damn.
But yeah, I mean, I'm impressed by this game. I haven't played a licensed, like really good action game, like action art adventure game like this that is this tight in a very, very, very long time. It is a lot of fun. I am very surprised. Also, I'm like now playing it, I'm sad that more people didn't like get all over this game because it's really good. It's unfair that you know what it is? Square Enix also put out that Marvel game and it's not good. And
that's the whole thing, yeah.
That's really the problem. This game was made by a different team and it is leagues better. It is amazing. It's a really, really good game. And I love the Guardians of the Galaxy movies and it does them well. The characters are a lot of fun. The banter's great. The action is a lot of fun. The attitude is good. It even has like all kinds of classic 80s music in it because he's like wearing his Walkman in it. I don't even think that was a thing in the comics. I think that was just something that the movies added. But
sure.
It's since become part of like the popular iconography of the characters now. I've said this before. There are certain characters that I'm okay with them completely changing based off of the popular version of, like Dr. Freeze, you know, or Mr. Freeze, you know. Come on,
a lot of Batman characters were like okay in the comics, and then the adaptations just made them amazing.
That adaptation is a way better version, completely supplant the old version. It's fine. Guardians of the Galaxy were not good. They were not a good like franchise. They were not a thing until James Gunn made them a thing. You had Rocket Raccoon that you could point out as a goofy ass character that existed in comics. At a certain point, but they were never a good, like, if you ever bring up the best Marvel stories, none of the Guardians of the Galaxy stories ever popped up. Ever. And now they're a thing because the movies were that good. Just kind of like what he did with the Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad was excellent. And those characters are nothing characters. So much so that you could just kill them off and nobody cares.
Yeah.
So
I mean that's literally. I mean that's the whole point.
that's the whole point. Yeah, exactly. But what I'm trying to say is, James Gunn fixed this franchise, and now it's better for the good of it. I mean, now it's kind of like Nick Fury is now like Samuel L. Jackson, Nick Fury in the comics, even because like he was not like that. They somehow wrote in a son that was also named Nick Fury, who was black.
Well, wasn't Samuel L. Jackson like Ultimate Nick Fury?
Correct. But they wrote in Samuel L. Jackson's like version of Nick Fury into the proper Marvel universe as well, as being a long lost son of Nick Fury, who also has an eye patch in the same eye.
I love that. That's so stupid.
Completely supplanted the old white Sergeant Fury, Nick Fury.
Yeah, he was just like Action Man.
Yeah, the Howling Commandos thing and all that stuff. Yeah, so like the Marvel, like I said, like updated versions of characters are quite alright. It's fine, unless it's like Batman or something, like somebody who has like really large cultural cachet to begin with. Like Nick Fury, nobody was sad about that. But I love this. This game is great. Go play it. I got it from a Black Friday sale from GameStop, and I do not regret it in the slightest. Really awesome stuff. Best art direction, Deathloop. I'll have to take their word for it. I haven't gotten far enough in it, but it is a beautiful game. The other nominees are Kena Bridge of Spirits. I don't even know that one. Do you know that one?
That's a new game, and it was highly anticipated. I haven't seen like gameplay, but like the basic stuff I've seen looks beautiful, like a lot of nature-y stuff.
Oh, okay. So this is a story-driven action-adventure combining exploration and fast-paced combat. Oh, it sounds like a game I would like. I would play that. That looks good. Psychonauts 2, that's not a surprise that that's in best art direction. That's kind of their deal, is the stylized nature of it. Ratchet and Clank and Artful Escape. I don't know that one either.
Yeah, that one I do not know.
Let me look it up real quick. Oh, that does look beautiful. Wow. Yeah. That looks neat. I don't know the nature of the game, but it looks a lot of fun. Yeah, it's a platform game. That's pretty cool. But I will check that out at a different time since we continue on. But yeah, it's awesome stuff. Best score music, Nier Replicant. Thank God. Oh
yeah,
man.
To the surprise of well, I gotta say, like, I'm kind of surprised that it won the award, but like I've heard that soundtrack, so like
it deserves it.
Keiichiro Okabe just like home run after home run, man. It's like that, Nier Replicant, Nier Automata, and I haven't played it yet, but that oh damn it, what was it? Isle of Dragons, that card game.
Oh yeah, that game.
Man. I look forward to hearing that. Drakengard 3, that guy just kills it with the. It's just funny that the winner is
an old game.
Yeah, like Nier Automata. Well, that game's old. Oh, I know. Let's take the even older game. Like it's the remaster, which is actually new, but it's just funny to me.
But yeah, like the music in that is largely the same.
Yeah, I'm very glad that soundtrack and
it's
that
also
game
one
in
of the
general is getting the
best
recognition it
soundtracks of all
deserves because
time.
it was slept on.
Yeah, the original Nier's soundtrack is one of the best video game soundtracks of all time, and I'm not afraid to say that.
Among my favorites ever. Yeah.
And the fact that it got its just due.
More melancholy than Automata, although Automata has its share of melancholy, but oof, the thing with Automata, like Drakengard, the world sucks. Nier, the world is dying and you can tell. Automata, post-dead world, so it's not like we don't have to worry about degradation. It's just like, can we fix this?
Yeah. Well, yeah, moving on. The other ones in this are Cyberpunk 2077. I'll have to take their word for it.
If you have a sufficient PC, then I'm sure the game is fine.
Deathloop, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay, that goes along with what I pointed out before, that it has an amazing 80s inspired soundtrack. and the Artful Escape. I need to play this Artful Escape. That looks pretty good. Best audio design, Deathloop in here again, but the winner was Forza Horizon 5. I believe that because
yeah,
put a lot
that
of
would never
attention to
have
detail.
been. Yeah, I was gonna say that would never would have been my guess, but now that you mention it, like, my God, the people who make the Forza games are so ludicrously fastidious. Like, I noticed someone in a Discord I was in did like a zoomed in screenshot, and they were like, "Holy shit, I know this because I have this brand of car." Like, they got the texture of the tires right. Like, these guys are nuts for the level of detail. So I wasn't thinking of sound design for a game like this, but I can easily believe it.
So Ratchet and Clank are also in this category: Resident Evil Village and Returnal.
Was Doom 3 in there for best sound design?
No comment. Best performance: Maggie Robertson for Resident Evil Village. I mean, that has to be it. She's an iconic character. Yeah, that's correct. Though Erica Mori from Life is Strange. I hear that those Life is Strange games are good. I just never played them.
Yeah, I have the first 3. I don't have colors.
Giancarlo Esposito of Breaking Bad fame, who's in Far Cry 6. Jason
what a shock that an actor who's been on TV is a good actor.
Gus Fring's been around, man.
And in The Boys season 2.
Yeah.
He's so fucking badass in The Boys that
a superhero with
Homelander listens to him, and Homelander's like a living nightmare.
Yeah, exactly.
When a regular ass human can boss Homelander around, oh my God!
A maladjusted test tube Superman.
You know what's funny? There was an amusing article, like a headline article from The Onion that said Giancarlo Esposito shows up in TV show to inform main characters of how fucked they are, and it's like, yeah, that's his job in the TV show.
He does that in Mandalorian as well.
Yeah, he just shows up, and you're like, crap. Like, he's so fun to watch, but like, he's always bad news.
Yeah. He's the wielder of the Darksaber now in Mandalorian. So, yeah, crazy. Jason E. Kelly and Azioma Akaga in Deathloop did not win either, but it's good that they were both recognized because they talk at each other constantly. Games for Impact, the winner was Life is Strange. I really need to play these games. They constantly win awards. Before Your Eyes, Boyfriend Dungeon. That surprises me. Thought-provoking game with pro-social meaning or message. Wow. Chicory, A Colorful Tale. Never heard of that one.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
And No Longer Home. Geez, I need to pick up all of these because the only one that I know is, well, I do know Boyfriend Dungeon and Life is Strange, but I don't know much about them. For
social commentary, was Doom 3 a contender?
Stop it.
That doesn't even make sense.
Best ongoing game, Final Fantasy XIV. It absolutely deserves it.
That's like not even a fair category to have at this point. There's like Final Fantasy XIV and WoW, recently.
Well, no, the games that are in this category make sense. Apex Legends, Call of Duty Warzone. You could put, if it were nominated, Destiny 2 in here. Fortnite, Genshin Impact. These are all...
Fortnite and Genshin are legit contenders.
Yeah.
But like FF14 is just killing it and killing it and killing it lately.
Yeah, no, it's the shit, and their work has paid off. Best indie game. Wow, I don't know a lot of these either.
Did Halo Infinite win for best indie game?
12 Minutes, Death's Door. The winner was Kena Bridge of Spirits again. I need to pick that up.
I am interested in picking that one up.
Inscription and Loop Hero. Loop Hero we just mentioned on RC.
Yeah,
so
I've heard good things about Inscription as well.
Yeah, I want to check that out. Best debut indie game, Kena Bridge of Spirits. Goddamn, I need to get that.
Yeah, again, people were really hyped about that game when it came out and when it was coming out.
Other nominees are Sable, The Artful Escape, The Forgotten City, and Valheim. Still, I don't know who Sable and Valheim are at this point either.
I want to say I've heard of Valheim, but maybe just the name of Heim is making me think of Norse mythology in general.
Yeah. Best mobile game, Fantasian are the nominees, League of Legends, Marvel Future Revolution, Pokemon Unite, but the winner was Genshin Impact, which totally makes sense.
Yeah,
that game...
I mean, all of those are legit contenders, but yeah, Genshin, that does not surprise me.
Best community support, FF14, not a surprise.
Yeah, come on.
But the other nominees were Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Fortnite, and No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky, it's interesting that
they've come back in a big way.
That game is even still in the conversation.
And Fallout 76 were like the worst launches I've ever heard. But well,
No Man's Sky's redemption arc is
No Man's Sky really came around because I thought that game was unsalvageable with all the bad press I'd heard about it. But apparently they really made it into something you want to play.
Yeah, absolutely. And not only that, but they keep updating it and adding major things to it.
Yeah.
Best VR AR game, Resident Evil 4. I guess that's for the Oculus.
Yeah, it's Oculus only. Although it's it's got a bunch of sensors from from Resident Evil 4, which is a little disappointing. Except for looking up Ashley's skirt, you don't really need to be doing that. But there's a lot of stuff that really? You decided to cut that? Okay.
Yeah, maybe it's a Facebook thing. The other nominees were Hitman 3, I Expect You to Die 2, Lone Echo 2, and Sniper Elite VR. I don't know much
Doom
about
3
these.
VR part of the nominee?
Oh, cut it out.
I actually get to ask that one.
Innovation and accessibility. Forza Horizon 5 was the winner on this. So apparently this added a lot of features to be enjoyed by a wider audience. Microsoft really has been pushing the fact that they are making their games more accessible for people that are other abilitied.
Yeah, I have seen that with special controllers even and stuff like that.
As well as even doing things they always include subtitles as an option, but that's the bare minimum that your game can do.
Yeah, I was gonna say at this point I'm actually genuinely surprised when subtitles are not offered in games at this point.
But they do things like colorblind stuff. They're really, really good about it.
Although I will say, I know this is from last year, but The Last of Us 2 was very good with accessibility options in the menu.
Nice.
A whole bunch of stuff. That. They had colorblind stuff. They had different backgrounds for your subtitles, so you don't have to worry about white on white. They had all sorts of sound options. It was pretty nice.
The other nominees were Far Cry 6, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, another good game, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, and The Veil, Shadow of the Crown. I don't know that one. Best action game, the winner was Returnal. That one I'm not surprised about because Returnal really seems to be something that people really like. But there's a new nominee in here that I heard was good, Back 4 Blood. Chivalry 2, I don't know much about that one. Deathloop, of course, and Far Cry 6. I absolutely believe Far Cry 6 because that series since 3 has just been such a joy to play. I don't think they have innovated enough for me to go back to the series, but even just playing it is fun. So I'm not gonna go back to it because the story is or the structure of it is too similar to the old games, but if I wanted to kill some time, playing a Far Cry game is a good way to do it. Best action adventure game, Metroid Dread, that won that. That's awesome. I'm really happy for that. Other nominees were Guardians of the Galaxy, Ratchet & Clank, Resident Evil, and Psychonauts 2. Best RPG, this is a surprise. Tales of Arise. So that was a good game, though.
Well, yeah, people were flipping about that game when that was when it was newer. They were just I've heard
it might be one of the best games
things.
in the series. Yeah. So I actually kind of want to go back to some of the better Tales games. It's not the kind of series where you need to play them all. God, no.
No, with the exception of games that have a 2 at the end of the title, there's not really an overall continuity unless you count going to the arena and the secret fight is the previous game's protagonist.
Well, there's one exception to that. That's Zestria and Berseria.
Berseria, there's actual continuity with those?
Yes.
Huh.
They are the same world.
Bizarre. Okay. All right.
But Berseria is a post-apocalyptic Zestria.
Yeah, it opens with the eclipse. Yeah.
Yeah. It literally is a pretty obvious call out to Berserk.
Right down to the title.
Yeah, exactly. Cyberpunk 2077, we knew that was going to be in the discussion, but I mean, come on, it's not. It was probably the biggest disappointment of the year. I don't think probably it was. Monster Hunter Rise, which I don't know what Mr. Ryu doesn't seem to like this one, right?
I don't even know.
I don't know. I don't. I've tried so many times with the series. I think it's fun, but geez, I don't know why anybody puts so much time into it.
Yeah, I've seen it played. I enjoy watching it. I have no interest in playing it.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Scarlet Nexus. I don't know much about that one. Let me see that one. Yeah, I don't know this one at all. But I heard it was good. Let me see here. And Shin Megami Tensei 5, which is excellent for what I've played of it. Best fighting game, Guilty Gear Strive. I don't think that one is a shocker because its competition isn't very big. So you have Demon Slayer, which I didn't even know this was a game.
Based off an anime.
The new Melty Blood game, which, is kind of old school at this point. Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, come on. Did you hear about the new thing that they're releasing with that, the new character that they're putting into that?
Depends how new it is.
Okay, well, they're putting Garfield in it.
Did not know about that.
Do you know what his unique gimmick is? This is brilliant.
Going to bed and healing?
No, but you're kind of getting there.
Fatality is shipping you off to Abu Dhabi.
You cannot play as him on Monday. Like in
So
the game,
stupid.
You cannot play as him on Monday. It's really funny.
Well,
you better hope that the tournament isn't happening on a Monday. But
house rule, no Mondays.
I mean, there are so few fighting games in this category that they have to put Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl in it. I mean, come on, that's not a high tier fighting game. Come on. Virtual Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown, which is an old game brought to a new system, so nobody expected that to win. So Guilty Gear is the obvious choice. Best family game, It Takes Two. Not a surprise because that was the winner as well overall. But there's Mario Party Superstars. Mario new Pokemon Snap. Super Mario 3D World, that deserves it, but that's an old game. WarioWare Get It Together. So the only non-Nintendo game won that category.
Yeah,
it's kind of funny. Best sports racing game, Forza. I'm just gonna go through them quickly at this point. Jeez, we're running out of time. Best sim strategy game, Age of Empires 4. Best multiplayer game, It Takes Two. Not a surprise. Content creator of the world, creator of the year was Dream. I don't even know the rest of these at all. So, Dream makes the most sense. Best esports athlete. Who cares? Esports coach. Don't care. Do you care about any of those categories?
No.
Best esports games, League of Legends. Who cares? Most anticipated game, Elden Ring. What a surprise. But
FromSoft really has come a long way since the 90s.
Yeah, I mean, God of War Ragnarok in this category, awesome. Horizon Forbidden West, yes. The sequel to Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, yes.
Yeah.
And Starfield, okay.
But isn't that shocking, though? FromSoft, even when it started to get popular, like Demon Souls, it's jank. And now we have a FromSoft game that's more anticipated than Breath of the Wild 2.
Yeah.
That's madness.
Yeah, considering, the cachet that Breath of the Wild had when it came out, if you go to a best 100 games of all time list, Like, Breath of the Wild's going to be there, but so is Dark Souls. So, and probably Bloodborne is going to be in that discussion,
Yeah,
too.
Bloodborne is a system seller.
It's kind of cool that, like, FromSoft, the little janky company that could, is in the same discussion as one of the most beloved franchises of all time. One of the most foundational. In fact,
now's your time to release Kingsfield 5 FromSoft.
I will go as far as to say that Dark Souls, Demon Souls wouldn't exist without Zelda. So I'm gonna go out and say it. But yeah, because the adventure genre is basically starts with adventure, but it really starts with Zelda. Come on. Yeah. But those are the winners. I can't even talk about the announcements, Lotus, because we are way behind schedule.
Yeah, we may very well. I mean, we could do fan comments, but I think I'm going to have to save a question for next time.
Yeah. Why don't we do that?
So, School Filmer has a couple things to say. It takes two to make a thing go awry. Hey, what? I didn't have any better jokes. The whole trademarking a word thing reminds me of a Kitchen Nightmare episode. It was the Cafe Hun episode where the owner trademarked the word hun, like short for honey. In Baltimore, a place that uses the word a lot. Yeah, oh, what can I get you, hun? Like, that kind of thing, like 1950s waitress.
Sure.
And needless to say, manure went down. You sure are polite, School Filmer. Also, listening to what Konami has become makes me yearn for their olden times. And that Harmony of Despair got a switch port. Hey, I can dream, can't I?
Yeah.
And for some reason also makes me wish Alpha Dream were still around. Maybe someday someone makes an indie game in the spirit of their Mario Luigi games.
I love those games. I think they're a lot of fun.
That'd be nice. Also, is it too early to jeer Go Screw 22? Like the year 22? Because if the whole play gets in the way of me and my sister's plans to watch Turning Red in a cinema, I'm going to blow a gasket. And then one more comment. Favorite stories in games? Hard to say, but considering what I got from the twins as a late birthday present, we'll see where it goes. The present? SMT5. And it turns out I stink at playing that game properly. Hardly surprising, given I've never played an SMT game before. Yeah, those are not, like, baby's first RPG.
Yeah, they're not immediately intuitive. I have a little experience just playing a little bit of 4 and a little bit of Persona 3, but I'm better at it than I expected, so I'm getting there. But it's not really my cup of tea. Like, I know it isn't. You know what I mean? It's like I think I always think I'm missing something with that series, but like it's a little too open-ended with what you do in it, I guess, for me. But
that's one of those series where I would just use a guide 100% of the time and still probably be frustrated with it.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, I think that will be the show for this week because we just had so much to talk about with the Game Awards. Maybe in RC, what we'll do is we'll pick up some of the announcements just to make sure that we give that its due for next week. So that's the show. We want to thank all of our fans who contributed questions, which we did not do this week because we ran out of time, but we will do next week. Please keep us supplied with awesome topics by submitting questions of your own via the YouTube and SoundCloud pages. While there, please give us thumbs ups, likes, and 5-star ratings on iTunes. It helps promote and spread awareness of the show, and any bit of encouragement helps keep the show going. You can also catch us on Tuesdays for our sister podcast, Corrective Consciousness, podcast, the in-depth look at this week in our lives. Finally, you can friend me as vysethebold on pretty much anything. Just make sure you give me a DM first.
And you could follow me on my YouTube channel, Lotus Prince. You can hit me up on Twitter at Lotus Prince. And finally, if you are interested in seeing my videos early, getting in on exclusive live streams, selecting upcoming games from my Let's Play, or getting in conversations with me and other patrons on Discord, then perhaps consider swinging by my Patreon account, which can be found at patreon.com/LotusPrince.
Well, that's just prime. We will catch everybody again on Tuesday.
Until next time, everyone.
Bye-bye.